The hopeful news for Social Security buried in the 1.9 stimulus bill. Yeah, I debated whether I want to do a video on this or not. I read this. One of you had sent this to me as well. The article is odd. It's a good article. It's an interesting take. And actually, I'm somewhat impressed by Brett Arendz here. I think I'm hard on old Brett sometimes, but this is actually a well thought out article. I was pleasantly surprised. It didn't give me as much hope as I was hoping for, but all right, let's go into this. Right, so Dayline, March 5th, 2021. The pension bailout is hard to justify on any grounds other than compassion. Okay, there's Sniffy. There's Dumb as a Rock. Dumb as a Rock. Where's Susan Rice? Because she's really running the show here. Anyway, so notice. Nobody's noticed, but there may be a glimmer of hope for Social Security in the gigantic rescue package currently that I think is all passed, right? Lawmakers have moved to include a bill, an unrelated $86 billion bailout for bankrupt union pensions. Once they've done that, it's going to be even harder for them to argue that they shouldn't be bail out Social Security, which is actually their responsibility, by the way. Social Security's deficit, $16.8 trillion, or about $50,000 per America, for everyone in America. Where's this money come from? On the other hand, if Congress tries to weasel out of fully funding Social Security, this rescue of private sector pensions is going to look like an outrage. It is an outrage. It's not going to. It already is. You're bailing out freaking unions as opposed to Social Security? It's freaking bullcrap. I write about retirement and, within reason, generally going to fight for retirees and future retirees. So I confess I'm glad elderly members of these multi-employer union plans aren't going to have to wait, aren't going to the wall. Call me a bleeding heart, but even with the bailout, many members will be looking at pension cuts. Yep. But this bailout is hard to justify on any grounds other than compassion, or more accurately, politics masquerading as compassion. Exactly. It's just scratching the back of the union donors. The big labor, big government, big business, they all go march to the same tune. These are private sector plans. Clearly the members, the workers, and their employers paid in too little over the years. Sure, there were external factors, but everyone has to deal with the external factors in handling their retirement. Exactly. You retire into a down market, that's an external factor. Who's going to bail your butt out? The union? Richard Trumka? Hell no. These are union plans. One of the biggest unions involved is the Teamsters. And this guy's mom used to be a member of the Teamsters of the days of Jimmy Hoffa. I spoke to John Murphy, who's the vice president of the Brotherhood of Teamsters, and he defended the rescue of these multi-employer plans. He said society should be measured by how it treats the sick and elderly. Well, okay. Then we're freaking great because we treat the sick and elderly great. So what does that have to do with the union plans there, Murphy? You can give it up? Because you know these guys are all, Richard Trump, I think he's AFL-CIO. I don't know anything about John Murphy. You know these guys are living large, man. He flatly denied that the plans are in trouble because of any mismanagement attributed to the union, saying anyone that making that claim doesn't know what they're talking about. Oh, okay, I'm convinced. He also said during our conversation that the $86 billion rescue was a result of 5 years of hard and intense lobbying, his word, not mine, on Capitol Hill, by the Teamsters and other unions. There's plenty of blame to go around. Blame the employers who paid in too little. Yep. Banked too many dividends and filed for bankruptcy when times got hard. 100%. Blame the unions who sold their members promises that couldn't be met, all the while they're living high in the hog. Blame the government-owned PBGC for charging these plans too little over the years and annual premiums because the unions say, you can't charge us that. No way, no way. Even today, the PBGC charges multi-employer plans just $31 per member per year and blame Congress and state governments. I completely agree. By the way, but we got to go back to the days of the pensions. Yeah, did not know how PBGC came to mind, you freaking idiots. Not you, my audience here, but the people, what's that lady's name? Teresa something, Garadelli, what I can't remember. All these leftist academics, we need to go back to the days of the pensions. They know how this happened. They know where PBGC came up. And they know PBG is underfunded. It's not underfunded because of taxpayers. It's underfunded because of people contributing it. We're privatizing the profits and socializing the risk for only the people who have big pockets to lobby DC. Not you and me. Not middle-class Joe. It's such a freaking scam, man. To bail out these plans, the taxpayers are writing a check to the PBGC, which insures the plans. But the PBGC was never supposed to be supported by the taxpayer. In the 1974 law that created it, 1974, what could have possibly happened right before that? Oh yeah, pensions are going kaput. Is a bailout for the pensions back then because they're going kaput. And all the private company says, I'm not giving you pensions anymore. We don't have the money. We're going kaput. The pensions, oh, that's freaking just bullcrap, dude. These people are lying. That's all there is to it. They are lying that pensions were the freaking the way of the land in the old days. It simply is not true. That's why we have the PBGC to begin with. That's why employers got rid of pension plans. The United States is not liable for any obligation or liability incurred by the corporation. That was the law. The United States is not liable for any liability. Oops. The PBGC is supposed to be self-funding through premiums raised from member plans. Its liabilities are not our liabilities. It's not our bill. We're giving it to the union people. Very few of the taxpayers paying for this rescue are lucky enough to have the defined benefit plans at all. Socialize the risk and privatize the profits. Exactly right. It's going to be the same thing with teachers' unions. It's going to be the same thing for the cops' unions. It's going to be the same thing for the firemen's unions. All the same thing, man. And look, do I blame? It's at the end of the day, everybody's at fault. Everybody's at fault. Everybody. So don't sit there and say, oh, you're blaming the teachers. No, I'm not blaming the teachers. Don't say, oh, you're blaming the politicians. No, I'm not blaming the politicians. Oh, you're blaming the lobbyists. No, I'm blaming all of us, to include the voters, man. At some point, we have to pay the bill. And you just can't, it's musical chairs, man. The sad thing is all these people benefit, the lobbyists, the unions, the union leadership, the teachers, the politicians, everybody but just the independent contractors and W-2 employers or corporation and entrepreneurs. Charles Blahouse, an expert at George Mason University's Libertarian Berkata Center, tells MarketWatch the bailout is not only irresponsible but scandalous. He accuses companies and unions of using accounting gimmicks to hide the problems. They weren't hiding. Dude, give me a break. If you thought these pensions were fully funded, you're a fool, man. Everyone knew they weren't hiding their problems. I mean, they might have been trying, but we knew it. If this is Enron, they'd be going to jail. If this is Ken Lay, John Murphy from Teamsters should be going to jail, no different than Ken Lay did, and whatever the guy's name was, the CIO or CFO, I forgot his name. I forgot. Given this, it's going to be a much bigger scandal if Congress shafts Social Security. Harder than it does private union pensions. It would be ludicrous to hope that shame or embarrassment would constrain most politicians, but right now Social Security could be looking at a 25% benefit cut in just over a decade. Biden ran on a Sniffy Joe, he doesn't call him that, but I do, ran on a platform protecting and actually raising Social Security benefits. When the time comes for Congress to address the matter, they better give us the same terms as the unions, or we're going to want to know the reason why. Yeah, don't stop believing in bonds, okay? The whole thing's just a scam. And the sad thing is there's no one to bail you out, my friends. You're going to have to do it yourself. That's all there is to it. And the way you do it is you don't take debt. That thing's kind of not very crisp, is it? You got to get out of debt. That's the first thing you got to do. Get out of debt. Move to a cheaper cost of living. It just, don't rely on these guys because there's no lobbying group for you. There is none. Or me. Frustrates me, but it's actually a pretty good article. I'm glad old Brett is calling these people to task because we're always getting scammed. No other way around that. When will that change? I don't know. I don't know what's going to have to. All right, we'll see you.